For the first time in my life, I was finally happy. I truly was happy. Well, I was until this week when the phone rang for the first time I was asleep next to my boyfriend. Let's call him Ryan. Ryan was the sweetest and most caring man in the world. He would do anything for me. And I would do anything for him, but that all changed that night. I woke up to the phone ringing. I was barely awake and I could only just manage to open my eyes slightly through the slight gap. I saw it was 3:17 a.m. Who the hell is calling me at this time of night? It must be something bad, I thought. While I reached over for my phone, Ryan hadn't moved. He must have been in a very deep sleep. I picked up the call and groggily said hello. Ryan has a second cell phone. It's hidden above the shower. Move the loose ceiling tile, you'll find it there. The voice was quiet, almost a whisper, but it had a raspy quality to it. It certainly wasn't a voice of someone I knew, but I thought it must be a prank. However, before I could even respond, the anonymous caller cut the line dead. I sat there for a few moments thinking this must be some kind of joke, but it wasn't funny. I didn't understand why someone would joke about that. If it was a friend, they know my past. They know I have been cheated on before, and it broke me some friend they are if it is one of them. I decided I would go and check just for my peace of mind. There's no harm in checking, and if there isn't anything there, I could just go back to sleep and forget about the prank until tomorrow. I carefully got out of bed so as not to wake Ryan and crept over to the bathroom door. I had to stand on the edge of the bath to reach above the shower, but I found a loose tile and moved it. I reached up and felt around for something. I didn't find anything at first and felt a sense of relief wash over me, but then as I got round to the part just above my head, I felt a phone. My mind began racing. What was this doing here? Surely Ryan couldn't do this to me? Then my mind went back to the call. How could anyone even know this was it? A friend of Ryan's, he had told about the phone and they were warning me. I stepped down and turned the phone on. Luckily, there was no lock. I swiped it open and went to the messages. There were hundreds of messages dating back to over a year ago with someone called Jasmine. They had even mentioned me in the texts. Carla is at it again. She's always trying to start arguments, never leaves me alone. One text read, "You need to leave her, babe. I need you, I love you." I couldn't read anymore. Tears began to fill my eyes and I could barely see anything. I was distraught. How could he do something like this to me? I ran to the bedroom, threw the phone at him, and started shouting. He had no remorse. He just asked how I knew about the phone. I kicked him out that night and told him never to come back. He took what he could and said he would come back for the rest later. I told him he would never step foot in this house again and that I would mail his stuff to his new address. I called my sister, crying down the phone to her. She said she would come and stay with me a few nights in the guest bedroom. She came over and we watched a few films, drank some wine, and ordered takeout. It made me feel a bit better, but I was still devastated. I told Lauren that I was going to head up to bed around 11 p.m. I fell asleep quickly. Probably the wine's doing. Then again, I was woken by the sound of my phone ringing on the bedside table. I was still a little drunk and had almost forgotten about the call the previous day. I told Lauren about it, but she was convinced it was one of Ryan's friends who felt guilty about knowing he was cheating. I picked up the phone and read the time. 3:17 a.m. shone on the screen in big, bold white letters. The same time as yesterday, I started to shake slightly, and I could feel my heart beating out of my chest. After what seemed like forever, I finally built up the courage to answer the call. "Hello," I said, stammering. For a second, the line was silent. Then, in that quiet, raspy voice, the caller said, "He left something behind under the floorboard, the third one from the wardrobe." The call ended. I called out to Lauren, but there was no answer. She must have fallen asleep on the couch downstairs. I paced around the room for a minute, thinking. I eventually went and got the flathead screwdriver from the bathroom and knelt down in front of the wardrobe and counted until the third floorboard. It came up easier than expected. There was a small bag in there. I grabbed the bag, put the floorboard back, put the screwdriver on the side table, and sat cross-legged on my bed. The bag contained an engagement ring, the one that Ryan had told me he was saving up for the one he never got to give me. I looked at it in disgust, just thinking about what he had done to me. I was in the middle of cursing him out in my mind when a small USB flash drive fell out of the bag. I hadn't noticed it before it was one of those mini ones. It read, SanDisk 64 gigabytes on the side. Not that I really knew what that meant. I was curious about what could be on it. I thought it must be videos of him cheating on me with that girl he was texting. I loaded up my laptop and plugged the flash drive in on it. There were folders with multiple girls' names on them. I opened the first one. What I found there horrified me. I can barely even write this without feeling the urge to vomit. It started off with pictures of the girls sleeping in a few of them. He was holding a knife near their necks while they slept. There were hundreds of these photos of multiple different women, but the last photo of each of the folders was the same. The woman was laid naked on the bed with her throat slit covered in blood in the corner. Ryan was standing there with a sinister grin on his face. Holding the knife, every single one of these folders were the same. Except mine. I felt nauseous. My head was pounding and I felt like I was about to pass out. The man I loved was some kind of psychotic killer, and he was planning on doing the same to me. There were pictures of me sleeping and him holding the knife near me, just like all the rest of them. I was about to get out of bed and rush downstairs to Lauren, but I was stopped by the sound of my phone ringing. I looked at my phone bewildered. It read 3:17 a.m., and an unknown number was calling me. It made no sense how I checked the time before, and it said 3:17 a.m. I answered, still confused, and the same voice spoke to me again. He is here. Ryan is downstairs. He is about to come up the line cut off, and I dropped my phone. I heard the creak of the stairs with each of his footsteps. I panicked, not knowing what to do. I looked around and realized I still had the screwdriver, so I grabbed it and hid behind the door. Ryan crept slowly and opened my door as quietly as he could as he entered. I drove the screwdriver as hard as I could into his shoulder. He yelped in pain, but didn't go down like I thought he would. He grabbed me by the hair and threw me to the floor. I looked at his right hand and saw the long blade that would be the cause of my death. You stupid bitch. Look what you have done now. I should have killed you, Beth. Before he could continue on, Lauren had woken up from all the commotion. She had grabbed a knife from the kitchen and ran upstairs. She saw Ryan on top of me and pushed the knife straight into the back of Ryan's neck. He fell down with a thud next to me, with half of him falling on me. I pushed him off and leapt up and hugged Lauren, crying with relief. We called the police and we were both taken to the station, where we were told Ryan was dead and that they would be looking into the women on the flash drive. That is where I am writing this from now. So, if you ever get a phone call at 3:17 a.m. from an unknown number, please answer it. And please, for the love of God, do what it says. If I didn't, I would be just another victim on that sick man's flash drive.